Hi friends, welcome back. Today we are going to solve lead code problem 778, swim in rising water. Before we go through the problem description and these examples and solution, I just want to mention that my channel is dedicated to help people who are preparing for Java coding interviews and Java interviews. And on my channel there are more than 200 solved coding examples which were taken from previously asked coding questions by big tech companies like Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, and many others. And those problems were selected to cover the important questions varieties such as dynamic programming, linked list questions, graph related coding questions, binary search tree, binary search related coding questions, as well as DFS, BFS matrix related coding interview questions. So if you are preparing for Java coding interview or Java telephonic interview, then please subscribe to this channel now. This channel can definitely help you in your job interview preparation and learning different concepts of Java. So please subscribe it. So let's go through the swim in rising water problem description. You are given a n by n integer matrix grid where each value grid ij represents elevation at point ij. The rain starts to fall. At time t, the depth of water everywhere is t. You can swim from a square to another four directionally adjacent square if and only if the elevation of both squares individually are at most t. So this is very important to solve this problem, right? So which means that for example, let's if you look at this example 1, if you want to go from 0 to 1, right, then you can only go at when t is equal to 1, right, because at that time both will have same elevation level, right? So that is what this statement is very important in this problem. You can swim infinite distances in zero time. Of course you must stay within boundaries of a grid. So once you have like you can swim infinite distances in zero time. So return the least time until you can reach bottom right square n minus 1 n minus 1 if you start at top left square, right, the top left square 0 0. So they have given us two examples, so we will go through these examples and understand how we can solve this problem. This is a hard problem. So first let's just look into this example one. So here if we want to start at this 0th location, we want to reach to the right location, right, 3. So since we can only swim once the both the like four directionally adjacent cells like here, right, they have equivalent value. When they become equivalent we can swim, right? So for example so let me just show you this example over here and then we can discuss the other example. So this is a Facebook and Google interview problem. So for example, when time is equal to t, right, the rain will start pouring, right, when time is equal to 0. Let's say t is equal to 0. So this grid is given to us when t is equal to 0, right? So the when the t is equal to 1 basically, so so to go from this cell to this cell, right, we can swim from this cell to this cell when this cell has water that will reach to 1 basically, right? So it will take one time basically to reach water here basically, right? So at that time we can swim from this cell to this cell, and after 2 seconds when the levels of 1 becomes 3, we can swim from 1 to 3 basically, right? So total here it takes us one waiting time, right, to go from this cell to this cell, and it takes us 2 seconds of waiting time to go from this cell to this cell. So total waiting time we had occurred is 3 seconds, right, basically. So we can reach from this cell 0 to this cell 3 basically, right? So 3 should be the answer, as you can see 3, right? And in the explanation they are also saying that at time 0 we are in left location, right, leftmost square. So top square, you cannot go anywhere else because four directionally adjacent neighbors have higher value, right? So you cannot reach 1 1 until time 3 basically, right? So until time 3 we cannot reach when the depth of water is 3, we can swim anywhere inside the grid. Basically, that's what they are saying. So we have to basically, let me just revert this back. So the rain will start pouring, right? So after 3 seconds, basically, right, after 3 seconds these values will change, right? So this will, everywhere it will become 3 after 3 seconds basically. So at that time we can go from this cell to this cell basically, right? Because that is only possible when we can swim, like if the two has both t values equivalent, right? They have given us here. So see, for adjacent, like directionally adjacent square, if and only if the elevation of both squares individually at most t, right? So those elevation will be 3 in this case after t is equal to 3, right? After 3 seconds the elevation will reach 3 everywhere, right? And at that time we can see, we can swim from this cell to this cell, right? So that is the first example. So now let's take another this a big example, and we will also discuss how we are going to solve this problem. So we will be using priority queue and BFS, right? Priority queue and BFS both to solve this problem. So BFS uses a queue, right? In this case we will use priority queue because for us we want to only take the smallest cell value, right, from the 4 adjacent elements. So let me just draw one. Let's just assume that this is our priority queue, right? So we can go through this example and I can explain you. So let's say first we are at this cell, right? So this is our target cell and this is our, sorry, this is our target cell and this is our source cell, right? So we will start with 0 and we will put that 0 into our priority queue here, right? So we will put 0 into priority queue. So this is our priority queue. So we will be in a loop, right, where we will keep checking until the priority queue becomes empty. So we will keep polling the elements from priority queue. So we will poll 0, right, and then we will check 4 directionally adjacent elements of 0. So one, this is, these two directions are not valid because they are outside of the boundary, but this direction is valid, so we will add 1 here, and then this direction also is valid, so we will add 24 here, right? 24 here, let's say. So after that we will again, now the priority queue we will define such that always the smallest element will be on the top, right? So whenever we pull next time the element from priority queue, we will always get the smallest element. This is the very important idea to solve this problem. um, yeah, so next time when we are polling, the smallest element is 1, right? So it will come out of priority queue, right? And then we will again, so 1 is out of priority queue, again we will check 4 direction which are not visited, right? So this one is outside of boundary, 0 is already visited, so we will not visit it. 2, we will put the 2 here, right? 2 we will put here in the priority queue, and 23 also we will put, right? 23 also we will put because that is also 4 directionally adjacent. So let's say 23 we put here into the priority queue. So next time when we poll, we will again poll the smallest element from priority queue, which is 2, right? 2 is the smallest element here. So priority queue will always keep the elements sorted by their values. So basically this is also when we insert 23, 24 will go uh, after 23, right? Because that is how the priority queue will keep the values always sorted such that the smallest value will be on the top. So now again we are at 2, so we can visit 3, right? And then we can visit 22. So we will visit 3 here, so it will add 3 here, and it will add 22. So 22 it will add here, right? I am just writing it here because like we don't have space again here. So 22 will go before 23, so 3 will go before that, right? So next time it will fall 3, right? So this one will keep going, right? So now 3 will be polled, then after that 4 will be polled, then 5 will be polled, right? 5, then after 5 there is a choice of polling the next smallest value. So next smallest value will be 16, right? Because these all other values are bigger than 16, so it will poll 16 basically. Then it will go like this: 15, 14, like this, right? 13. I'll just draw a line. So 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, and then it will reach 6. So this is the way the the traversal of the grid will work basically, and this path we can take to reach from start to end, right? And we will keep track of what is the maximum value we have seen in this path, right? So the maximum value we have seen in this path is 16, right? So that is we have to return that out as our answer. So this is the 16 value that we have seen. So as you can see, we are returning here 16 as our answer, right? And this path is already shown here, and this one is with the help of BFS and priority queue. And priority queue we will define in such a way that it will always store the smallest value on the top, right? So let's look into the implementation details of this problem now. So we just created one small class called as node. It will hold the I and jth coordinate of the matrix cell, and it will hold the value of the cell, right? So for example, here for this 0 value is 0, and I and j value are also 0 0, right? I is 0, j is 0, right? Same like 0th row and 0th column. So this one, and 0 is value basically, right? This is the node class. And we have created one just like these directions, because 4 directions are there, right? For every location. So if you are standing at one location, you can go up, you can go down, right? You can go on right. So these are four adjacent, four adjacent cell locations where we can visit, right? So that's why I took a directions array here. It's a 2D array, and this -1 0, it means that we will add these values into our current cell, right? So let's look at the swim in water method now. So here I just got a n, which is grid's length, right? Grid dot length. Then I created a priority queue of nodes, right? And it is such that a dot val minus b dot val. It means that it will always keep the smallest value on the top, right? This is the lambda expression that we use to define that priority queue. And we will start first. We know that we wanted to start at this 0 0 location, right? So 0 0 location, and the value of 0 0 we will put into priority queue here, right? Pq dot offer. And after that we will just create one variable called as result to hold the maximum value, right? Result will hold the maximum value always, like 16 for example in this case, right? So we created visited cells array to keep track of the cells that we are visiting, right? Because we don't want to revisit those cells of the matrix once we visit those cells, right? For example, so I'll just take out this coloring so I can reuse this space again. Yeah, so for example, if we are visiting 0 now, right? So we cannot visit 0 again, like we are visiting 1, so we cannot visit 0 because this is already visited, right? So we can only visit now 2 or 23 basically, right? Because this we don't want to revisit, like only once we will visit, right? So that's why we created this visited cells array. And while pq is empty, right? It's not empty, means while priority queue has some elements in it, then we will keep doing our bfs, right? So this one is basically uh, VFS starts here basically, right? So we will poll the node from the queue, and then we will check if it is more than result, then we will keep updating the result, right? The current value. So we will have the maximum. We are keeping track of the maximum value that we have visited on this path, right? So that's what we are doing here. And we are checking if we have reached the low, like we have reached the destination node, right? This one, this last cell, right? So we are checking here. If we have reached it, then we will just break out of the while loop, right? Otherwise we will go in all these four directions, right? All these four directions that I mentioned: up, down, right and left. And if it is not, we will get all these coordinates from our, like we will add these directions right into the current position here. And we wanted to first check if we are not going out of the boundary, like it should be a valid cell, right? So for example, x should be, x is greater than equal to 0, x is less than n, y is greater than equal to 0 and y is less than n, right? Then only it is a valid cell, because otherwise the cell can go outside of the boundary of the matrix, right? So we have to check this. And the cell is not already visited, right? If that is the case, then we will offer that new cell, new coordinates and new value to the priority queue here, and we will just mark that cell as a visited. So this while loop will keep going. This is the standard implementation of BFS, right? Breadth first search. And it will try to find out the maximum value, always keep track of the maximum value until it reaches the end of this target end, right? Until it reaches 6, and at the end it will just return the result as the maximum value, right? Because so least time until you can reach bottom right square. So that's what the result is basically, right? So let's just take this first example over here and we'll just make sure that it works. So it's giving us 3, so it's giving us correct answer. So let's take the another example, the bigger one that we have just tried. So this is the bigger example that we just tried, right? This one. So it should give us the 16 as the maximum value, right, on the path. So let's just take this one. So as you can see, it's giving us correct answer, right? 16 it's giving us. So we will just go ahead, and we already have executed both the test cases. So we will just submit our solution now. So our solution got accepted by LeetCode. It is 86% faster than other submissions and 81% faster on memory usage, which is very good. So this is the way we can solve swim in rising water problem with the help of BFS and priority queue. So the priority queue is very important here, because we always wanted to get the smallest value, right? For example, between 2 and 23 we should always select the smallest value 2, right? Then we should select 3, then we should select 4, right? Because smallest it should select always, right? That is the logic to solve this problem. If you haven't already checked the playlist on my channel, there is a separate playlist called as LeetCode and LeetCode Solutions, and it has over 200 solved different varieties of problem such as dynamic programming, graph problems, binary search tree problems, binary search related coding interview questions, BFS, DFS matrix related questions, as well as string linked list related coding interview questions as well. And those questions are taken from, they were previously asked coding questions by big tech companies like Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, Yahoo, and many others. So please go through it if you are preparing for your coding interviews. That will be definitely helpful to you. And there is another playlist called as Java interviews, and that is dedicated to frequently asked telephonic Java interview questions and how to answer them. So if you are preparing for any Java interviews, then this channel will be definitely helpful to you. If you like this solution, if you like how it is explained with the examples and Java code, please hit like and subscribe it. Your subscription is really important to us, because that is the way the videos can reach to more people. They can also watch these videos and understand how to approach different variety of coding problems, which techniques to use, which data structures to use to solve those problems. And they can also learn and they can also get help from these videos. So please subscribe to the channel, and if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe it and share it with your friends and colleagues. And thanks for watching the video.